G'day everybody, welcome back to Paddlecast. We haven't done one of these for a few weeks, so I'm going to try something a little different today, which is to keep the intro really, really short. My guests today are Nadia and Nico Schenk, an awesome couple who are currently traveling all the way around the coastline of Australia. 16,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles. The crazy part, Nico is paddling the whole way. He's paddling, he's running, he's riding his bike the whole way around the coast of Australia. It's a really big country. It's an epic adventure. They're calling it the Epic Lap of Australia. I had the pleasure of sitting down with them last week just as they'd begun their odyssey. I really had a great time chatting with these guys. I encourage you to follow them on Instagram and Facebook. It's an amazing, amazing journey. It's epic. Here they are to tell you in their own words, Nadia and Nico Schenk. We're rolling. Nico, Nadia, welcome to Paddlecast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're going on a bit of an adventure. I know you're from Switzerland. Are you aware that this is not Switzerland? Australia's a little bigger than Switzerland.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing in your own words.
We go and travel slow, explore that beautiful country, and we had to find a way to make it interesting.
So you thought you'd just paddle and run and ride around the whole country?
Yeah, maybe Nadia can explain that bit when that idea came up.
What's the story?
Well, we're actually supposed to go and travel overseas this year, but obviously that didn't happen. And we didn't really know what to do, so we bought a motorhome, started living in it. And then we became Australians this year, so we thought maybe we could travel in Australia because we're Australian now. And Nico one day for lunch came back and said, how about we do it? I cycle, I run, and I paddle all around. I thought about it, and I actually have no problem with it.
I mean, you got the best job here. You're just driving. You drive 25 minutes a day.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's out there grinding for 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, I think she was just thinking, well, the risk for her is not that big. And it will keep me probably quiet as well because I'm always sort of frustrated when I cannot exercise enough.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to wear me out in the morning. And we have a bit of a deal as well that I'm allowed to do it half the day, most days in the morning, and lunchtime I have to be done with it.
You have to be done. You'd keep going all day if you could.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Is he one of those guys that just
100%. He would go if I wasn't there and we didn't make that deal. I reckon he'd be done in 3 months.
Wow.
Just going day and night. I would never see him. So yeah, we made that rule so that I drive to wherever he stops and then we spend the rest of the day together.
Would he turn it into a race if you weren't
Oh
there?
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Go for the world
have
record.
You met him?
You do have a bit of your reputation, Nico, as being someone that's a bit of a fitness fanatic. So of all the people that could possibly basically paddle, run and ride around Australia, I'd put my money on you. So I'm very confident you're going to make this, no worries.
Yeah, but that's not the target this time. We're just going to try to
take it
enjoy
easy.
and
so this is
go slow.
This is you're doing a proper trip around Australia. This is like you're going to do it slowly, enjoy and see the whole country around the coast.
And like places you might miss for sure when you're driving. I will really have to start to video everything to share with Nadia because she's missing the best part to my eyes at least. It's really cool. Even though like from here to Brisbane, I end up to places I never seen before and it's not that far. Don't drive the highway hundreds of time up and down and it's always something I hate. Oh, I go to Brisbane. Oh no, racing up the M1, but actually it can be quite cool when you find a bit other ways and you go slow. And
so the coastline's actually pretty nice up here. I've never seen it either.
Yeah, and actually, even the bike path from where it started actually. Nadia, help.
I think you started you paddled to Paradise Point and then you took the bike from Paradise Point up to the Logan River.
So wait, you've already done, how many days have you already done now? You started last week?
5.
5 days, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have you completed so far?
About 50 Ks running, about 80 Ks on the bike, and about 40 Ks paddling.
Yeah?
No, it was 35 paddling. That's the slowest.
Yeah.
Especially when the wind is not playing with you. But it's the most exciting still like it's still a lot of the trip is around the sub, like trying to find the best conditions and the more funny bumps to go in and play with. But yeah.
So you've got some flexibility. If there's a downwinder coming up tomorrow, you're like, screw it, we're on the sup.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's headwind, you're on the bike.
for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe running.
You're not silly. You're doing this the smart way.
Yeah. I tried. But yeah, having said that, we have to move forward because of wet season, and we need to be past Broome by end of October. Otherwise, it's gonna be really tricky. And
this is in the north of Australia.
Yeah. Crocs in the water.
I want to get a map of Australia up just to put this into perspective. This is not a small country that we live in. That's Australia. I mean, you don't have to zoom far out to see the entire world. We're over here, right? This is us, little down here on the Gold Coast, just south of Brisbane. And so far you've gone from the Gold Coast to Brisbane, right?
Yeah,
so you went up here somewhere.
I like to see the map that close. It looks really good.
The other day, we bought a big map of Australia, and the other day Nico opened it, laid it out on the floor of the motorhome, and he wanted to mark down what he had accomplished to date, and he got so depressed that he can't even write it down. There's no space.
So how much of this map have you already done in percentage wise? Are you keeping a good like a working map of this?
Yeah, but I need to find a smaller map. I think maybe only Queensland, even though it's gonna be still really big.
So we're starting like on the middle of the East Coast, and you want to do a full loop, anti-clockwise. You're skipping Tasmania, I'm guessing. That's not.
No, I'm gonna try.
You're doing Tasmania?
Yeah.
Just for good measure.
Yeah.
You gonna take the ferry over there?
Are
you gonna swim just for paddle it? Do a downwinder?
The dream will be to find an escort boat and to give it a go on the sub through those small islands. But this is a bit of a dream. I don't know if lots of things have to line up. And I think the longest distance between those islands is like 70 Ks.
Yeah, that's from Melbourne down to Tassie is about 200 kilometers. That's a solid hike.
Yeah, but there's all those little dots in between.
You get down to these little islands here?
Yeah, that will be the plan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be easy. Come on. So what's the timeline for this? When are we going to do the next episode of Paddlecast when you're finished? When's that going to be?
22 at least, maybe 23, and realistically 24.
See, this is 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's definitely a lifestyle for a while, and yeah, there is no rush. We don't have to come back really for anything. We're ready to take the opportunity who comes up along the way. It'd be great to find some good little projects along the way we can work on as well.
Yeah. So what's the route? Is it roughly like this? You're going to go up to the Cape, you cut across to the Gulf, like something like that?
Yeah, and then down to Mount Isa. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Roughly that. Maybe a bit lower.
And then like up here back towards Darwin?
Yeah, we would like to go to Kakadu National Park.
Oh, yeah.
And then
around here somewhere. Yep, that's very straight. Don't go this way. So you're going to roughly follow the coast, but some of like Northern Australia is barren wilderness. There's nothing up there, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places that you just couldn't reach because Nadia, obviously, you got to follow him relatively closely.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't have a 4-wheel drive, so I'm going to stick to sealed roads.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're not going to go to Cape York or anything because we just can't. And I don't think we can even go north of Port Douglas. That's probably the highest we can go. And that's also why we have to go back down through Mount Isa to cross the border with the Northern Territory because I think the rest of the roads are unsealed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
then the rest of it, once you get to Western Australia, it's pretty easy. There's a big highway there, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you can just cruise down to Perth, do a downwinder on the King of the Cut run.
Yeah.
And then just go all the way back. Visit Tassie. Look at that. Add a few Ks. You're probably doing that's 8,000 kilometers there. What have you penciled in?
You sure about that? I think it's more.
Oh wait, that's miles. Shit. Yeah. That's 13,000.
Yeah.
13,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That sounds right.
Wow.
I think it's gonna be about 16,000.
My
And
God.
I hope to be able to do as much as possible on the sub, but I think it's going to be like maybe 1,000, 2,000 kilometers on the sub,
Yeah.
4 or 5 running, and the rest is cycling.
Wow.
Cycling is quick.
There's no, you're a week in. You haven't, no regrets? The honeymoon, you're still in the honeymoon period?
Yeah, that's the honeymoon, I think.
Have you thought about this? Have you thought ahead, like where's going to be the challenge? Like where do you know is going to be a little bit tough?
I think, the body will adapt, and we will not have time pressure except for wet season. So it's pretty relaxed. Like if we're sick of it, we might stop for a bit and keep going.
So can I ask you an obvious question that might not be so easy to answer? Why are you doing this? What's the what's that core motivation? What happened when you went for a paddle and came back and said, let's just paddle around Australia?
I don't know. I think it's always something really fun about running or cycling or surfing from A to B, and not doing coming back to where you started.
Yeah,
This is amazing. I'm gonna be doing that for 2 years.
it sounds incredible. I'm just wondering why on earth you're doing it. Has this always been a dream? Has it always been a dream to kind of just see the country from a different perspective?
The best holiday I ever had was in New Zealand. I had a sort of a similar trip. I took my bicycle, went to Auckland on a carton box, opened the carton box, throw it out, cycle all the way down to Christchurch, find a shop, put the bike back in a carton box, and flew back home.
Wow.
This was the best holiday ever. And
I wasn't there.
Apart from that, I'm sure it would have been even better if you were there, Nadia.
though I wanted to do something similar where Nadia can come along, and it's
Backpedaling
all
there
the comfort with that. Yeah, to having the house and the wife following the whole adventure is just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really, really fortunate that Nadia is happy with it, and
You've got an amazing wife. You married?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, you do have the easy job, Nadia. You've kind of got an amazing husband, really.
I do. Yes. Very much so.
So you guys are French and Swiss,
Yep.
and you're going to end up seeing more of Australia than any Australian, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, now that we're Australian, we'll up the average.
All right. Congratulations. You got your Australian citizenship.
Yeah, we did this year on Valentine's Day, actually.
Wow.
It was a perfect gift.
All righty. So you're proper Aussies.
Yeah, we are.
Have you got the Australian slang down and everything?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. All right. The Savo,
Savo,
get on the bottle-o. Yeah. Perfect. So what's next? You've already done a week out of possibly 150 weeks. Where do you go from here? What's the plan?
now the plan is to keep going.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Redcliffe to Beachmere, so hopefully a downwind.
Yep.
And then from there, I think I want to be in Noosa by Sunday. There'll probably 2 bike ride with a little, maybe a paddle in between. There's lots of rider on the sunny coast, and some of them are keen to come for a paddle.
Yep.
Hopefully condition will turn to be fun as well. And see how we go. Keep going like that and try to find other people to come along. Until now it's been really good. On day 1 it was a run, and Kelly, Benny and Carla, who are not especially runner, came along to run that first leg.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. It was super cool, and I think on the hard days I will remember that I think they trust half what I'm doing, and I think I'm gonna go all the way along.
This is if people want to follow you, they can get on Australia Epic Lap on Instagram or Facebook. You've just started documenting the journey. What's been the biggest surprise so far about living in a motorhome and just basically traveling so slowly around the country?
I'd say we get a real wake-up call about the amount of water that we use and how quickly those water tanks empty.
Luckily we had a few. And
So just to go back a step, you guys aren't just this isn't just some kind of crazy adventure around the country. You want to do basically learn more about the sustainable travel and promote sustainable travel. Is that right?
Yeah.
Give us the rundown.
Yeah, the next step is we'd like to find a way to offset our carbon emission of the van. I'm not that bad myself.
It's all Nadia. Come on, Nadia.
That's all me. Yeah, all the driving, the fuel that I'm burning every day. We want to try and find a way to offset that. So there's a few different ways that we're looking at doing it. There's a few companies organizations that plant trees or do other things to offset. So for us, it'll be funding their activity and offsetting it this way. But we also want to do a bit more hands-on things, and we're thinking of maybe organizing some cleanups in advance. Places we go to, we can organize the cleanups with the local community, and when the day that we're here, then we can, lend an actual hand. And then we're also trying to adopt a zero waste lifestyle, which, stop buying crap in plastic, basically. Sorry for the bad word.
You're French. You're allowed to swear.
Thank you. And and traveling slow, just trying to, obviously we're burning fuel, but we're going to try and do it as slowly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if we travel slow, we burn not that much over a long period of time. Actually, probably less than if we were just living a normal life and going to work, like back and forward every day.
Yep.
What else I wanted to say about that?
Well, Nico's been busy upgrading our van as well. So he's installed a big solar panel, which makes us completely off the grid for power. We don't actually have to plug into 220 volt anymore. We can run our fridge completely off grid, which we're really happy about, because we also don't want to, have to go to caravan parks all the time and use electricity there. We can actually we're solar powered for that. And the next step, I guess, is getting rid of the gas, which we actually use for cooking and hot water still. So maybe looking at getting our hot water to be electric as well.
How much are you eating if you're basically paddling, running, riding 4 or 5 hours a day?
I eat as much as possible. Yeah.
What's the normal brekkie?
Oats, peanut butter mixed with it with chia seeds and LSA powder, sunflower, a big portion of it.
Yeah.
Hot water to make it become a bit more soaky and eatable. And then a bit of sugar with it, like maple syrup or
rice malt syrup.
Yeah, or a little bit of honey.
So you're fueled up pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you know what your longest stretch is going to be? Is there any particularly like big bays or anything you're going to have to do a big crossing? Or are you going to just take it pretty crazy? Tassie, I mean, apart from paddling across the Bass Strait.
No, I'm not too sure. I will try to keep it safe all the time, and if I can find places where the wind goes a long way and other people keen to come with me, and I'll be super stoked to go as long as possible.
Yeah.
But it's all depending of the knowledge of the locals where I get to, and I'm not too sure. I think I will have been stoked to be able to do snapper to the Seaway, something like that. 30K, but it didn't work out to be that great of condition for a start, but it doesn't matter. Other opportunity would come up, and
I'm sure you're gonna have plenty of time.
Yeah, and coming back up New South Wales and all that, it's gonna be a lot more opportunities that in the middle of nowhere in Western Australia.
Yeah. How remote are you gonna get? Do you know like how? Because you're off the grid, right? How far off are you going?
I'm not sure. We're gonna see, but it's really good that we're actually self-sufficient and we just don't have to run back to somewhere. We're just gonna, on the boring parts where we have to cross a desert, just like it's simple. Have brekkie, eat as much as you can, and just go.
Yeah.
Go and smash the case, and then it's lunchtime. I have to stop or stop, and we see. I think I will become better at it, and I'll be able to do more and more case.
How far can you ride before lunch? Have you got Like what can you cover if you're on one of those gun barrel highways in the middle up in the north?
Hopefully at least 150 Ks, but I hope to do a bit more than that by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get fitter this whole trip.
Yeah, and recovering better. I think to do it day in, day out, that's a challenge.
Are you taking rest days every week?
Yeah, I'm forced to. Yeah.
A mandatory 1 day rest a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sundays you take off.
Yeah, Sundays or any other days. Was Wednesday today.
Is there? Do you lose the concept of time and days and weeks when you're doing this? You think? I know it's only been a week so far, but do you know what day it is?
No, it's all the same. That the days are getting a bit shorter now for another week, and then the days will again get a bit longer. That's all I know.
Wow.
So yes.
And how's it been so far for you, Nadia? I mean, again, you're doing this the smart way.
Yeah.
You're seeing the entire country, and all you got to do is drive 30 minutes a day.
Exactly right. Yeah, I love it. It's I used to travel with my family in a motorhome when I was a kid, so I love being in a motorhome, and honestly, we've got no less comfort in this one than we had in our unit. It's amazing. Like I've got all the cooking equipment.
I had a quick look. I'm gonna have to do the tour after this.
Yeah, we've got hot water. Like when Nico, he went for a surf just before, went for a surf and then came back, had a hot shower, had a snack, toasted some bread. Like it's just
You're
a
not
home.
missing anything.
No, shower, toilet, food. What else do you need in life?
Yeah. How many seats? How many seats you got in there?
We now have 4 seats. We bought it as a 2-seater and we've added an extra seat that is a double seat. So we can now have visitors. 2 of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've got a few people interested to join along the way. And, well, you never know. We'll be away for a while. We can come back with somebody else.
I was going to say, you're gone 2 or 3 years. You might come back with some extra passengers.
Maybe.
Yeah, Chris, if you want to do some solid base training, come and see me for a couple of weeks.
That's I'll run the Kakadu with you. Let's go straight through the north. I mean, I got to do some Yukon training before next year.
Yeah.
Before next June. So by that stage, you're probably going to be somewhere in northwest Australia.
Well, we can paddle again.
Yeah. And we'll come say hello.
Nice.
What's the longest you've actually paddled before this?
70K on Geneva Lake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from one side to the other.
Well, that's pretty solid. So
Yeah.
you're not in
On a
uncharted territory.
12.6, I think 27 wide.
Wow.
Was a long day.
Why? It's like the only
Because-
12.6 in Europe.
Yeah, at that stage was what we were paddling. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a
And
long day. I saw Lausanne for I think 7 hours on my left side.
are you going to be documenting the epic lap? Like, is this going to become a movie at the end or anything? You're recording everything?
Yeah, we try to get better at it days after days. And yeah, thanks to Nadia because that's totally her for now.
Yeah.
And I've got to say that I'm very new to being a social media manager and it's very time consuming and I'm really trying my best. But I don't know about a movie, but I'm definitely trying to post every day. And I don't know, we'll probably need to get maybe a GoPro or something for you to video what you're doing.
Especially to share with you as well. Like already now I see a week in and from Gold Coast to Brisbane, but I have a couple of spots I would love to be able to show you and tell you a bit how I felt about it. And yeah, I'm feeling in the best seat in the adventure, but I want to be able to share it as much as possible with Nadia and everyone else too.
I mean, Australia is a beautiful country. From what I've
It's
heard,
big.
I haven't seen. Actually, you're going to see far more of my own country. Well, it's your country now. You're Aussies. But you're going to see far more of Australia than most Aussies. It's so big.
I tell you.
Let me know how it
in 2
is.
years.
Is there one part where you're pretty excited to visit? I heard Kakadu is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, there's
Except there's croc everywhere.
I mean, don't get eaten,
apart from
but
the crocs, yeah. There's nowhere that really comes to mind, but we actually, both of us, we just can't wait to be in the middle of nowhere
yeah.
because we've lived on the Gold Coast for years now and go to Brisbane. And I mean, I know you can go to Springbrook and everything, but we're looking forward to just have nothing around, like just kilometers of nothingness.
I think Northwestern Australia will give you that.
Yep.
That's basically just, that's just remote desert out there. You'll have no company for days on end.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for that as well, and all the rest. Like, it's gonna be incredible coming back up the coast as well, where there's lots of options again to paddle in the ocean. Come back, it's like lots of curves along the coast and lots of people who paddling as well.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be
cool,
like, but it's a little while until we're there.
You'll be like Forrest Gump by the end of this. Just have that entourage running behind you. Now, Nadia, let me ask you a very, very important question here.
Yes.
When are you going to jump in and do some work here?
Well,
you got to do some. Come on, can't drive the whole way.
5K a couple of days ago. That's gotta count. I don't know. I love Nico's enthusiasm about fitness, and I love how fit he is. But I'm more into yoga and Pilates, low impact type of sport. So I could document my own practice, but it's never going to look as remarkable as what Nico's doing.
Well, I'll tell you now. I'm just throwing this out there, feeling generous. If you ever want to jump in with Nico for a few days, I'll drive the van. you can go and do like 50 Ks a day on the SUP or running.
Oh, how kind of you.
I know, I'm feeling generous.
Thank you, especially paddling. I've been known to paddle extremely well.
What's your longest? Do you paddle much?
No, literally none.
No?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the last time I was on the SUP was a year ago.
Yeah, you paddle a bit.
Yeah, Nico tried to get me into it. He really, really tried. And I like watching it, and I'm always, I've traveled, like I've seen you on a few events, but I'm just not that into it.
How did you guys meet out here?
Yeah, we met in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I was a waitress in a French restaurant, and one night Nico came for dinner.
Wow, there you go.
7 years later.
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Have you actually seen your own countries, or are you just doing? Sorry, this is your own country. It's a little rude, but
Yeah.
the countries you were born in. Have you traveled much around?
It's much
Switzerland?
smaller.
Because you could ride that in a couple of days, surely.
I had a project in Switzerland that I'd never be able to do. I wanted to cross Switzerland only by water, sort of from the Constant Lake at the top all the way down to Geneva, going through rivers and going with an inflatable board. And when I was not able to paddle, pack it up and walk to the next lake and keep going like that.
Wow.
But I had all a plan to do that, but yeah, the opportunity never came up. And
Is this what he does? Just thinks of the hardest way to travel anywhere?
Pretty much, yeah.
What could possibly, is there anything after this? Have you thought, oh man, I'd love to just paddle to Antarctica or something?
I'm not sure. I think I'll be busy to think about what's next during this adventure. Nothing
You're going to have a
lining
lot
up.
of time to think out there.
Yeah, exactly right.
We're not too keen on the cold though, so maybe not Antarctica.
All right, you can paddle to
Paddle
Africa
somewhere.
or somewhere near the equator.
I just want to be able to see him every day, so it's got to be somewhat land related too.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you grow up cycling? Did you do triathlon or anything?
No. Not much sport when I grew up.
No?
No. no. Lots
You're just
of
making up for lost time now?
sport. Yes and not. I was involved in motorsport, but as a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one in the pit stop fixing really fast. But
Really?
then after when that was done, drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I saw the ocean first time when I was 20 years old because Switzerland is really sort of landlocked and I never traveled with my family. No one from my family can swim.
Yeah.
And when I saw the ocean for the first time, I said, wow, that's pretty cool. There's just a bit of a
Wow.
problem. I cannot swim.
So you learned to swim when you were 20?
Yeah, I've learned to swim when I was 20 and it wasn't easy because it's annoying to learn when you that age. And then, first trip, India. I learned how to surf in India. My friend Cedric, who introduced me actually in stand-up in Switzerland, I joined him on his trip in India and had a couple of waves there in South India, and I loved it. And then I say, I work another year. Then I left everything. I went back to India 3 months to learn the basics. And then I flew to Australia and never left. It's too good.
Wow. So how long you actually been paddling now? Because I remember you were paddling on the creek years ago.
Yeah. I've been paddling probably about 10 years now.
Yeah.
At first was in Switzerland on the lakes, maybe once a month, because quite far from the lake, but I just loved it, and it's really what I wanted to do, and really focusing on the surf. Like the surf was the pinnacle, was really exotic and something like, wow, no one I know is doing it.
Yeah.
Or it's something, this is, that's something pretty cool to be able to do. Oh yeah, and then when I arrived here in Australia for a year in the country, I was still always just focused on surfing. And then, I sort of found people who were surfing again, and I went back into surf more than surfing.
What's the image? What's the appeal of surfing for someone who comes from a landlocked country? Because I know I'm spoiled. I grew up 2 minutes from the beach, so it's always just been a thing that's there. But to come from a landlocked country, what was that appeal the first time you saw waves, or the first time you rode a wave? What did you feel?
Yeah, it's sort of fascinating because it's something in movement. It's not like just a hill full of white stuff and you go on top and you stay there, and you can, once you've been done once, you can go up, back up, and it's still the same slope, and it's always the same sort of. Waves is sort of something who's always different. It was maybe that, but so appealing, and the fact that in warmer place you just have tongs and board shorts. That's a lifestyle. It's much less stuff, and like the boots and everything's wet. You have to dry it up for the next day. Like it's much more easier when you just live on the Gold Coast and it's just a board short and you just hang around the van for a bit. Then it's dry and you're ready for the next day again. Yeah, it's just much more simple lifestyle. That was what more appealing to me than snowboarding and skiing in Switzerland.
You've really embraced the Australian lifestyle, you two. You must have aced the citizenship tests. Just rocked up with your boardies and your flip-flops and don't even bother, you're in. Here's your passport.
That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
Well, Nadia had all the easy questions though.
Oh yeah?
I was asked what was the official language of Australia.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's a question?
That's a question.
Did you say correctly that it's Australian?
It is. It was a trick question. It was English.
What do they ask you on the citizenship test?
Oh, they give you a booklet with a lot of stuff to study, and some of it is how the government's formed, and some of it is more cultural. There's questions about the Torres Strait Island and the Aboriginal community. You have to know the flags. You have to know.
Wow.
That was the tricky stuff.
You know, most Australians don't even know this stuff.
I know.
So you're going to see more of Australia. You're going to be more knowledgeable about our culture and our government and everything. You're going to be more Aussie than the people that were born here.
Ugh, stop it.
The only problem, I won't be able to qualify for the ISA ever again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Much, much bigger.
Boothie, Lincoln,
now.
James Casey. It's a little different. I mean, there's some good. You guys have got a good team in Switzerland.
Yeah.
For considering it's Switzerland, a little landlocked country. But yeah, sorry, you're not. No, that's Australia's bit of a different level.
Yeah, I might have to go back at skiing or something like that.
You could do the Australian cross-country skiing team.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't think we're really punching above our weight there yet. Get on the biathlon team for Australia, maybe.
Yeah.
What's it like when was the last time you were in Switzerland paddling? What's the scene like there these days? I know you got a couple of good juniors coming through. Anna is Swiss, right? Young Anna Scherke. You got a few crew that compete around the Euro Tour and everything, but
it's been a long time, eh?
Yeah.
I think last time I stepped in was 2016 in a race there, but then never really went back to paddle. I went a couple of times back for family reasons, but yeah, it's too good here.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that country is built around lakes and rivers. I mean, Lake Geneva is absolutely massive. It's kind of made for paddling.
Yeah, that's right. And the scenery is beautiful. Like, it's nothing better to be able to paddle next to huge Alps and Villeneuve and Montreux.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I think my favorite airport in the world is Geneva, because when you're flying in, you're just coming down in line with the Alps, and if you pick the right side of the plane, it's spectacular.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a beautiful country and really exotic. Small, lots of mountains. Here is big and flat.
And really expensive.
Yeah, well, both are really.
Australia's getting there as well. I remember 2013, like I think the first year we did like an unofficial Euro tour, and it was me and Jamie Mitchell, and we drove around for like 3 weeks to the different events, and we had to drive through Switzerland for about 30 minutes to get from like Saint Maxime up to the Lost Mills event, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be way quicker. We'll just go through Switzerland, save us like 3 hours. We get to the border, and it's like, oh, where's your highway pass? And like, I don't know, we're just going around the corner, and it's like, all right, here, it's gonna be like 60 euros. I'm like, we want to drive for 30 minutes in your country. Like, don't worry, it lasts for a year. I'm like, we're not coming back. That was my first experience of Switzerland, getting swindled by the border guards.
Yeah, that's right.
But it is a beautiful
So
place. It's very
it's-
close to Glagla. I thought it was one of the last times you probably paddled in that area, right?
Yeah.
I was looking through my phone today. I saw a photo I took of you. I don't know what year that was, but Glagla a few years ago.
17.
Yeah. That's
Possibly.
just down the road from Geneva, huh?
Yeah, really similar scenario that most of Switzerland. Unfortunately, I come from more north.
Yeah.
It's not as, there is a bit less mountains and a lot less water. It's not as interesting as the rest of it. But yeah, it's still really pretty. Not a single red light.
Yeah.
Like 25 Ks around my hometown. No, not a single traffic light.
So you're a country boy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
So being out in the Aussie wilderness is going to be pretty fine for you. You're not used to the big city.
Oh, I start to get used to that.
How about you, Nadia?
I don't know if I call
You're
it
Parisian?
country girl. No. Oh, I was born next to Paris, south of Paris. And we lived there in the suburbs around Paris, not Paris itself,
Yeah.
for 8 years. And then moved to south of France, which is much, much nicer. And it's a tiny village, 3,000 inhabitants. So I don't know if that qualifies as country. I don't really call myself a country girl, but yeah.
Have you seen much? Did you guys see much of Australia before this trip? Have you done any?
I've only ever seen
You done the
East
van
Coast.
life before?
Yeah, a little bit. Cairns to Melbourne for me.
Yeah.
Nico's done a bit more.
Yeah, with my little Toyota Hiace, I've done half of it.
Yeah.
Done from Sydney down to Melbourne, and then Great Ocean Road, Adelaide, and then I crossed the whole country up to Darwin. And then from Darwin down to Mount Isa, Cairns, and back down to Sydney. But like in 2 months' time, I was flat out. Well, I knew that this time we need more time than that because, yeah, it's a big country. And it was only half of it.
How many boards are you taking? Have you just got one board with you?
I've got, one board. And
I heard you stole
one
Callie's
super.
board. Is that right?
Yeah, he's precious, precious board.
Your Callie's Magic Sonova.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I'm stuck with that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a surfboard.
Yeah.
That's all.
You're not going to do any foiling? There's a lot of wind. You want to jump into a foil downwinder?
I'd love to, but yeah, where you stop?
It's also a sensitive topic because he stole his foil before because we were supposed to go travel overseas this year and we got rid of a bunch of stuff because we had to put it all in storage, and so he
Sold your foil.
most of his boards and
my unlimited too.
Oh.
like literally I think you only own a couple boards now, that's it.
Yeah, changed, but it's you cannot have it all. Like that's our lifestyle now, and if we want to be serious about it, I use that board now for a year or two, and then I will have a foil instead and go foiling on it.
Yeah. So what's the rest of your days? You're paddling till lunchtime, and then it's and then you're in holiday mode. Like, have you guys taken a break from work for this, or are you working remotely, or what?
My working in the morning at the moment.
So we actually both quit our jobs before going traveling, which again didn't happen. So we left our jobs, and I'm doing a little bit of work remotely because I'm an accountant and I do some bookkeeping remotely. So I still look after a couple of clients, which is good. Hopefully I can keep that going, even maybe growing it.
Yeah.
that would be ideal because, I think we're going to need to stop and work at some point of our trip, depending on how long it takes.
Where were you planning on going before the virus hit?
We were going to visit Nico's uncle in Arizona, meet a few friends in Texas, and then visit our family in Europe. So we actually wanted to buy a motorhome in Europe and travel around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, plans change. We might do that as well, but a bit later.
I mean, it's a pretty good time if you were going to say, let's travel around in Australia. Because, I mean, obviously we can't. There's probably a lot of people who are thinking right now is a good time to get a motorhome and drive around the country. I've actually been on Facebook every day looking at vans. I want to get one of those old Hiaces you had and just do the van life.
Yeah.
Go on some road trips.
Yeah, definitely.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Has this crazy, zombie apocalypse that we've been living through, has it changed your perspective on travel? Because you're obviously very worldly people, you're very active people. Has this changed your outlook on life and what's important to you?
Yeah, I think it slows us all a bit, and I think I like to be a bit slowed down and just enjoy a bit more simple stuff.
And it was quite interesting to see I liked seeing all the stats about the emissions dropping when the world just stops.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I think it was a good rest for the planet, really.
Yeah.
Just all of us staying at home and not doing much. So it does show you that travel, has an impact for sure. But also, interestingly enough, if you look at the same stats, you can see there's a drop, but it's not that massive of a drop. That means that the bulk of our emissions are structural. It's just the way we live as a society, how we produce things.
Yeah.
And I think I'd love to see an after pandemic that changes the structural way we do things.
Yeah.
Because I think it's much, much needed. You probably agree, but the state of the world today is a little bit crazy. Not just the pandemic, but everything else that's going on. It just seems a bit.
It feels like someone just kind of slapped us in our face and sent us to our room and said, "You guys, you've been really naughty. Just go, your time out. Go think about what you've done to the earth for the last few hundred years."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly right.
I mean,
our plan first, like we were planning to jump to a lot of different places and travel really far, and actually it's gonna be super fun to stay really close, or even if we're going far, but we're going there slowly.
How are you? Because right now you're actually not even allowed to leave the state, right? What's the ruling at the moment on border crossings? Because we've got this weird situation in Australia where we've got like 6 or 7, I should know the exact number, giant states.
I'd love to correct
There's
you,
like
but I can't
6
remember.
states and 2 territories. Off the top of my head, there's not that many. But they're big and they've got huge long borders. And for the last 3 months, they've been closed, which is the most batshit crazy thing in Australia because we don't have borders. We live 5 minutes from the nearest border and there's police there every day checking your papers, and it's weird. When you get up north, obviously it's not going to be for a while till you cross over, but have you got a plan for that?
We're sort of just crossing our fingers right now because I haven't checked recently because it's going to be at least a couple months before we reach Northern Territory. But I don't think they've reopened their border just yet. We know that Queensland is still shut. New South Wales is open. Actually never shut. I found that out.
We can cross.
Yeah,
you just can't get back.
Oh, you
it's
can
the weirdest
actually.
thing. I mean, you just got to show that weird paper with the letter on it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the most bizarre thing.
It is. It's actually, we've done it the other day to go and check out a caravan for a friend.
Yeah.
I know you've got to have a real reason, but being a Queensland resident, you just go online and do the application. It takes 2 seconds and they email it to you and ta-da.
I know a lot of people that have been surfing over the border.
Yep.
And that's their excuse. Yep. It's the oddest border closing I've ever seen. It's basically just cops waving you through if they see a letter on your car.
Literally. And sometimes, like the other day, we wanted to go to Coolangatta and we literally just missed the exit on the M1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How easy is that? I did that before I signed up for this border crossing thing.
Yeah.
And I was driving down the M1 behind here because I just wanted to go for a little cruise. And I realized, shit, I've missed the exit. I'm in New South Wales now.
Yep.
There was no sign saying you can't come back or anything. It's like, oh, damn it. So I take the next exit behind the airport and come up, and sure enough, the police stop me. He's like, whoa, where's your bit of paper with the letter A on it? Like, you can't cross. I was like, oh my God. And my window was broken. He was like, wind your window down. I was like, it's broken. He's like, oh, we got a faulty vehicle as well. All right. It was like field day for him. He was so excited.
You're in for a treat.
Like, man, this is a very strange situation. But it's been nice because apart from, the horrible side of this pandemic, which is quite tragic and economically disastrous, we can't forget that. But to find a positive in it, I think a lot of people have, and that's that whole thing of slowing down.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I know for me it's been nice to see my hometown for a little bit. I haven't been here this much in about 15 years.
Yep. And we've had it easy in Australia, I think, obviously compared to the rest of the world.
We've been very lucky.
Yeah. Both our families have been in confinement for 2 months straight, not being able to get out of their homes.
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to look at the bright side when we were, down the beach every day and going paddling. And I mean,
we are very lucky.
We can't go to work. Okay, we'll go to the beach. It's like we had it pretty good. Yeah. You look at Italy, France, Spain. That was different level.
Yeah, really lucky.
So what's the
and let's see if we find somewhere better than here. But I think like here is really good. The Gold Coast, Crombie, and just off the alley before this, and it's magical, like the sunset, and you see the surfers there, and we love it here. But let's go and explore.
It's a good place to be stuck.
We're just going to check out the entire country just to check if there's no better place.
Just double check every stretch of the coastline just in case.
Yeah, that's
there's somewhere better than Currumbin.
That's the only way to do it properly.
Have you thought about that? That maybe you'll just find this little sleepy town in remote Western Australia and go, this is amazing. This is an even better version of Currumbin. We're just staying here.
Yeah, we open to any opportunities, but it will come. Yeah, it has to come with something we can do there, like a good project to work on, and let's see the vibes, and maybe for a little time or maybe for a long time, we don't know.
Yeah. And because another thing that this pandemic has brought us is, and also living in the motorhome, is because we quit our jobs, there's now that we also have no rent or mortgage really to pay because we live in the motorhome, we've got this freedom to find work that we find meaningful. And that's like it's undescribably freedoming, if that's a word. Like I don't know if, because I'm an accountant and my profession is incredibly boring from the get-go. Like I do tax returns all day. I could do something much more exciting with my life, and I've found it interesting for a long time, and I don't anymore. But now I could use my skills to do something that matters, because I don't have that pressure to be in the daily grind and Nico feels the same. Like we'd like to take it slow and have the time to be able to afford to find work that matters, even if it doesn't pay much, if that makes sense.
So this has been a very liberating experience already, and you've only just begun.
Yeah, definitely. Nadia explained it very well.
Give her the microphone back.
No, that's for sure. It's to be able to do something you like and not chasing the money. It's a really cool luxury to be able to do, and we are aware that we're lucky to be in that position, but we make it happen. It didn't come by itself either. And it's not that hard. Everyone can do it.
I'm sure there's a bit of preparation involved in this trip. You didn't just go, hey, let's just drive around Australia for 2 or 3 years. How long did you plan for this?
About a month ago.
Yeah.
Nico's very...
maybe 5 weeks.
Maybe 5 weeks.
We bought the van, the motorhome before. The idea to go is just to utilize what we've got.
Wow.
And you just need to be prepared to live with a lot less stuff. That's it. Like you just have one of everything or two, and that's it. Yeah,
everything's been meant to be for us. Like we sort of sold all our belongings pretty much because we were ready to travel for long overseas. So we didn't have much left here that we had to find. Basically, the week when everything happened, really, I don't know exactly the dates anymore. We finished our jobs. The week after, we planned to go overseas, the US and all that. And we had a little camper van rented for the week, and then we were going away. But yeah, on that week we knew that we were finally impossible to go away. So we had to find a home. So we drove up and down and find that motorhome on that week, and
Wow.
been our home since then. And yeah, then we work a bit on it. No, quite a bit on it, like adding some stuff that we wanted to be a bit more completely
self-sufficient.
exactly right.
So you've become totally self-sufficient, and you've learned how to have this minimalist lifestyle. Just own one of everything. So you're only taking things you need, basically.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like we still have empty cupboards in the motorhome, even though we've been living in there since March.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, and like I say one of everything. I actually travel with 2 sewing machines. But one's an overlocker, if you want to get specific.
Is that your luxury item?
That's my luxury item. That's my toys. And 2 yoga mats as well, because it's 2 of us, right?
Wait, do you need the sewing machine, or are you just like sewing?
I love sewing. So I make little pouches and like zipper pouches, little bags, little handbags things. Yeah.
So when Nico's out there on the water and you've already arrived 3 hours earlier at the finish because you drove,
Yep.
you just get the overlocker out and
I love sewing. That's my hobby. I don't have many hobbies. Like Nico, just any sport will do. It just clears my head. I love sewing.
You can have a lot of bags and pouches by the time
I
this trip's
will.
over.
Actually, I don't have any left. I just gift them as I go.
Yeah?
Yeah. I even made little labels, like with a made up brand, like it's made by N. That's it. And I give them to people. It makes them so happy.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That could probably come in handy when you reach these tiny little country towns out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Make friends very quickly.
Trade a pouch for some supplies.
Yeah. Get some oats for Nico. How much are you actually carrying? Like how often are you resupplying your food and water and everything?
Water twice a week.
Mm.
Maybe it's going to be less in difficult places where we a bit limited. Otherwise, shopping, we don't know yet, but once a week, I will say, for now. But we'd like to buy maybe a bit less and take the time to go to the market, the local markets, as we go.
Yeah.
And that's what we do under half of the day is try to pick those good stuff to do. And to be with the locals as well. And we have a bit of a story to tell because we can buy food.
This sounds like an amazing way to travel, a very rewarding way. How far are you planning ahead? Like how many days in advance do you know, okay, we're probably going to be here and there? Are you just winging it completely, or do you have a rough plan?
The rough plan is to be end of October, and then I divided, and I know that I need to do roughly 400 Ks a week.
Yeah.
Then I've got a week ahead, sort of trying to find the good spot to sup, and then the rest come around it.
So, and if you get behind, you just do more days on the bike.
That's it.
And if you're ahead, you can have the luxury of paddling.
Yeah, or 2 days rest or something. Yeah.
Do you prefer one of these? The world's longest triathlon, running, biking, and paddling. Is there one that you like? Do you prefer paddling? Do you prefer running?
Yeah, I prefer paddling and running, but
I
have to use the bike on that one.
Yeah,
I still enjoy the bike, but I prefer definitely paddling and running.
So when you're finished with this, the epic lap, you're going to be able to just do something like the 11 cities or the Yukon. No worries. You're going to come join us in Canada in a few years. Yeah,
that's be the next big thing in sub for me. Like, you can be like that's, I think
it's an amazing.
For sure,
love that one.
Yeah.
That's also the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and the 11th city as well. I never done it.
Yeah,
it's definitely something on the list.
Well, you'll be in pretty good form.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, if people want to follow you, just one last look at this. Australia Epic Lap is the name. You can get on Instagram and you're on Facebook as well. Australia Epic Lap. Nico and Nadia. Nadia's going to be posting every day, regular updates in between making pouches.
Yep.
Locker. Have we got a tour of the motorhome on here?
Oh no, we didn't put one. There's bits and pieces. You can see it from the outside.
Is that the home?
Quite a bit.
Oh no, you're in a hotel there.
Yeah, that was we got.
So that's
we
a
got
pretty
nice
sweet
street,
bed.
yeah.
In one of our rest day, it will come. We're gonna do a little tour, or maybe part of it as we go.
Is that inside?
Yeah,
That's the motorhome?
yeah.
Damn.
So that's when
You're not
Nico
missing anything.
switched the fridge. So he removed that old fridge and put a new one. We almost doubled our capacity there.
Wow.
I know, amazing.
So you're doing it. It looks relatively
It's,
comfortable. You're not
it's
like this
so
isn't
comfortable.
this isn't backpacker
Nah, not
dirt
at all.
cheap style.
No.
You're doing this the smart way.
Yeah, like we can stand up, we can stretch with our hands overhead. We've got a double-sized bed, which is enough for us. There's a huge storage called the garage.
Yeah.
I wish it was a bit bigger, though.
Of course you do.
I heard that's the secret to van life is get a van you can stand up in.
Yes, 100%. And that has a bathroom. For me, that was my criteria. I need to be able to stand up and have a bathroom. Nico wouldn't be too fussed without the bathroom, to be very honest.
Yeah, oh well. But yeah, definitely, if you can stand in it, is like really good. And if you have a spot, you can actually stretch and really.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's all you need.
Wow. Well, Nadia, Nico, it's been a pleasure chatting. I'm absolutely fascinated by this trip. It sounds honestly like a dream adventure. And I'm stoked that you guys get to experience this. And I'm very excited that we get to follow it online. So we're going to be on here every day. Everybody listening, get onto Australia Epic Lap and follow these guys. And we're going to have to do another one in a couple of years when you finish. Maybe like halfway.
Yeah, come.
Maybe I can give you a call every few months and we can do an update. And if I'm feeling really adventurous, I'll come and join you somewhere in like
you should.
the deserts of remote Western Australia.
We have a spare bed.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So I got no excuse to run
That's
through
it.
the desert is what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
pick your spot. Some places is a long way from.
You know, I can
airport
call.
to
We
the
can
other.
do these remotely now. I don't have to.
No. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's much better like that, you know.
Well, when the borders open, I'm actually I'm pretty keen to see the rest of this country as well. I think this whole crazy time has given me renewed appreciation of how amazing Australia is. So I'd definitely be keen to meet up with you guys somewhere on the road. Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. We'll see you in WA in
Yay.
6 months or so.
December? No, October. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's do it. I mean, I'm not going overseas anytime this year, so why not make the most of it?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. It's late here. You got to get to bed. And what's tomorrow?
Little paddle.
Just a little 30K, 40K paddle?
Not that much. 15.
15?
I might
easy.
have to jump on the bike after that to knock a few Ks.
So what's that, like a 10-minute drive for you, Nadia?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
All righty. Well, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for chatting. It's
Thanks for
fascinating.
having us.
And I look forward
Thanks
to
so
following
much.
more of this.
Yeah.
All righty.
Cool.
Cheers. Wrap it up there. Thanks, guys. That was really good.